you're about to manifest everything you have ever wanted with your specific person. And I know some people watching this will probably say it's just all luck, but let me tell you, luck has absolutely nothing to do with manifestation, and I'll prove it in this video. Because it is usually easier for our ego to think of all of these success stories as just being lucky rather than anything that we're doing in our reality. But let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that everything around you is always reflecting your current state of being. So it makes sense why our ego or our current sense of self would want to dispute that or label it as luck. Because if it is just luck, then there's actually nothing we have to do, nothing we're doing wrong, and nothing to correct. So basically, no way to act differently. But remember, that assumption also creates a paradox, which we know does not occur in our reality. So if you've ever termed as anything lucky, or someone around you, maybe a friend or a family member, has said that it's just all luck, tell them this specific idea. So let's say it is all luck. Let's say that manifestation is just luck and all the success stories are just lucky. If that's the case, then we're implying, as our ego would want to imply, that we don't actually have or can create any alteration in this outcome. Basically, it's destiny. Because if it's just luck, then it doesn't matter what we do. It won't support or diminish any sort of action towards the outcome that we desire. Basically meaning that there's nothing that we can do to change the outcome in our reality. But if that's then the case, why do we do anything? If everything in your reality is a manifestation, and we're assuming it all to be luck, then why would we ever show up to work? Why would we ever work out? Why would we ever eat healthy? Because all of that then is just lucky and none of your actions are going to alter it. But we know, and you can definitely think of examples in your past in which what you did altered your reality in such a way in which it changed it, meaning that you had some control or effect on the things that were happening outside of you. But we know for a fact, after this idea of talking about or discussing luck, that that makes no sense with this concept. So then we have to ask ourselves, why do we think of it as luck and how do we overcome it? So again, we think of it as luck because it's easier for our logical mind to assume the exact same state that we are right now. But if we want our specific person, then of course we know we have to alter our state, we have to alter our thoughts, and we have to alter our beliefs. And the quicker we understand that you are creating everything around you, the quicker you're going to be able to come out of this state of the same habits, the same sense of self, the same sense of being, and then you're going to act and be the individual that already has what they want and see that reflected outside of you. Because also, this idea of luck just means that our actions don't have consequences, but we know again that what we do, the way we assume our reality, the way we believe, the way we act, always has an effect outside of us. And so it's kind of an illusion as well, because once you enter into the state, you actually lose your sense of action in your reality. Because as soon as you actually enter into a state, you lose your free agency. So you have the ability to choose a state, but as soon as you choose the state, you actually have to be compelled to complete it, which makes manifestation so easy and so effortless because we just have to choose the state of exactly what we want. But we might also be asking, so then why don't we just choose it? Why don't we just act from the state in which we already have what we want? Why are we even creating this idea of luck in our reality to avoid it? And that's because of habit, because we habitually become addicted to the state that we are already in right now. It's again more comfortable for our ego or our sense of self to just do what it's always been doing. And in this case, though, we never see any change outside of us. We don't manifest what we want, we manifest what we are. And we're not going to see a change in our reality until we see a change in ourselves. And so with all of this being said, I'm not saying that you don't want to refer to yourself as lucky. We just can never use the concept of luck as a crutch to not manifest exactly what we desire, because every action has a reaction in your reality, and your sense of self always reflects in your reality. And you wouldn't say it's luck as to what shows up into the mirror in the morning when you look into the mirror. You would say it's exactly your sense of self and your way of being. But if you did want to take away the responsibility of what to do, you might term it as luck, or you might term it as random. But that's not how our reality works. And the thing is, as soon as you realize this and you realize everything is coming from you, then you'll be able to manifest everything that you want with your specific person because it will seem obvious. It will seem easy. You'll realize that it's just a state that you're choosing. You won't let these worried thoughts or anxious thoughts or anything to kind of stop you from acting from the state that you desire, and you will manifest so much quicker than you could ever imagine. Because it's the same reason why when we think as if we've been manifesting for a really long time, let's say we've been manifesting for months or years, again, our mind wants to return back to that idea of luck. When we see a success story that happened within 24 hours, we want to say it's luck because we don't want to take the responsibility that the way in which we're acting is actually having a reflection. Now, no time is lost in your reality because time is not the experience that you think it is. Also, learning is what creates time. So if you're experiencing time, it just means you're a part of a learning process. So never worry about the time that you spent in your manifestation, but remember, the more we term it as luck, the more we're going to create a crutch, and then the harder it's actually going to be to manifest what you want right now, because you have the ability right now to be with your specific person. You have the ability to change your entire reality in any singular way you want. It's all possible to you right here and right now. It's not a wait time. You don't have to wait for anything. There's not something you have to learn. There's not something you have to understand. Well, I guess you have to understand this idea, but it's just a state of being that you are, and grabbing or creating a conditioned consciousness from the unlimited amount of conditioned consciousness that your God state already has created. Take, for example, this person who messaged me after one of our phone call coaching sessions, and you can see that after the session, they started receiving so much more communication from their specific person. They were even FaceTiming each other multiple different times. And as you can see, they started to use or put the affirmations in the form of flashcards because they were getting so many results. And so when you look at this success story, is your immediate thought, wow, that's so lucky that they were able to do it so fast? Luck had absolutely nothing to do with this. Luck was not involved. It all was a representation of the change in state that they were having that resulted in an immediate change in their external reality. It's all in relation to state. It's all in relation to belief. It's all in relation to your assumptions. And if you change those assumptions, your reality, it isn't a flip of a coin. It isn't a random number generator. When you change your state, you will see a difference around you. So stop using luck as a way to stop acting and assuming the state of already being with your specific person, because that's actually the only barrier that's in your way. It's crazy to think that all barriers in our reality are actually a result of our own thinking that there has to be a barrier in order to overcome. Basically, by assuming that there's a barrier and trying to fix a barrier that doesn't actually exist, we actually create the only thing that is seemingly in our way. So stop thinking about luck as getting you to the outcome that you want. Again, you can assume to be lucky, you can take upon the state of being lucky, but luck is just a way of describing something that we don't truly understand. When we term something as lucky, it's because we don't understand why it occurred. And so if we are terming success stories as being lucky, even the success story that I showed in this email, if we term that as just being lucky, it's just because we don't understand why it happened. And so we just have to think about the state in which we're acting in our reality as to why then we're not seeing the outcome that we want. Because if we were to completely believe in luck, then there's actually no point to these videos. There's no point in waking up in the morning and doing something different, because if it's just luck, it will just happen automatically. But we know a reality does not work in that way. You chose your job based on your assumptions. You chose who you're hanging around with based on your assumptions. You chose what to wear in the morning based on your assumptions. You chose everything based on your assumptions, and your reality reflected exactly your state of being. And so keep that in mind, and don't let these false narratives or your ego try to keep you exactly where you are, because you are meant to be with your specific person. And think of how much they're missing being with you right now. Every moment you wait to manifest them is more time that they have to go without you being in their reality. And really, how sad is that? So with all of this being said, make sure to comment any questions you have in the comment section below. Remember, you could also reach out to me on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com if you want to send me a personal question, a personal message, or a personal success. As well as this, as always, my members have been getting really amazing results with me writing out all of these ideas. So make sure to check out the post section for this specific idea written up so you can take time to really understand it and manifest exactly what you want. And as always, I will be posting a portion of the write-up publicly. So if you're not a member, that's okay. You can still read a part of this idea and still act it out. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all the members, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.